How to hear from your spirit. There are many ways, there are many experiences that clearly demonstrate the nature of the spirit. An example of this was the strange experience a certain young man had when he was embarking on a road journey by public transport. Having paid his fare and received a bus ticket at the station, he took his seat in the mass transit bus scheduled for the journey. As he sat quietly, he closed his eyes and relaxed while other passengers were making their way to their seats. The bus driver had already taken his own seat as well and was set for the journey. All of a sudden, the young man started feeling very uneasy. A sense of foreboding came over him. He tried to shake it off, but the feeling remained and could not be ignored. Because of this, he decided to get out of the bus. As soon as he came down from the bus, he felt a strong sense of relief. He then made up his mind not to travel anymore, even though he had paid the fare. After the bus left, he had a second thought about his decision not to travel anymore. It was important for him to travel, and the uneasy feeling he had has gone. So he decided to join the next bus. This time around, everything went well, and the bus took off on the journey. After about 25 minutes of smooth cruising on the expressway, they entered into slow-moving traffic, which indicated there was some sort of obstruction ahead. It turned out to be the burnt wreckage of the early bus he had wanted to travel in. It had been involved in a ghastly motor accident with a petrol tanker driver. There were no survivors. A cold shudder went through him. He realized that he had narrowly escaped death by the whiskers. The uncomfortable sensation he had previously experienced when seated in the bus was actually a premonition of the impending danger, and heeding it had literally saved his life. This was a clear demonstration of a message being transmitted from the inner self to his conscious mind. We may therefore define the conscious mind as our awareness of all the different things of life put together into one package. These include what we perceive through our five senses, as well as the thoughts we hold and the emotions we feel. The inner self, on the other hand, is generally hidden from our consciousness. Due to its subtle nature, we tend to be unaware of it. There is a relationship between the conscious mind and the inner self or spirit. This relationship is similar in some respects to a phone conversation between two individuals, one being a talkative extrovert and the other one being a quiet introvert. In a phone conversation, we alternate between speaking and listening. When one person is speaking, the one on the other hand should ideally be listening, which means being quiet and receptive. If both people try to speak at the same time, there will be no communication. In the metaphorical phone conversation between the conscious mind and the inner self, the conscious mind can be said to be speaking when our physical senses are actively engaged or when we are concentrating on our thoughts. When this happens, the inner self will be quiet on the other side, taking notes like a good listener. When, on the other hand, we become calm and turn on our consciousness away from our physical senses and roaming thoughts, we become the listener and may hear the still, silent voice of the spirit within. However, if our minds are constantly stimulated, the impressions coming in through our physical activities or the thoughts we hold, we are unlikely to get messages from the inner self. It will appear to remain quiet. In the account of the young man narrowly avoiding the fatal bus accident, we may recall that the impression came to him when he sat down in a seated position. It was easy for him to relax, and he even closed his eyes. He was able to momentarily subdue all external impressions, which then became subdued or even non-existent. Spontaneously, he put his conscious mind into a receptive state relative to the inner self or spirit. This explains why he was able to receive the life-saving message. The principle involved also gives insight into why the other passengers on the bus were unable to receive any warning of the danger ahead. Like most people in the modern world, they were too preoccupied to be receptive. They had lost the natural rapport that should exist between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The major part of the work of this lesson is to restore this vital connection between these two aspects of ourselves. The fundamental step towards achieving this is to recognize and understand as much as we can about each aspect of our dual nature. The conscious part of our nature is involved in all our voluntary actions. These include reasoning, our recollection of memories, and our imagination. Also included are our physical activities like moving about, speaking, eating, listening, looking at things, and so on. The inner self is involved with the involuntary aspect of our lives. Some of these include the intelligent functioning of our cardiovascular system, immune system, digestive system, respiratory system, and other underlying systems that keep us alive and well. The inner self is closely associated with the universal intelligence responsible for all the natural and spiritual laws of the cosmos. A simple way of describing this A simple way of describing the universal intelligence is to say that it is the mind of God. The inner self, also referred to as the subconscious mind, is the mind of God in man. This speaks to omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence of God directly available to us in ways that are beyond our comprehension or imagination. This is true whether we are aware of it or not. With a good understanding of our dual nature, we will be in a better position to apply ourselves more effectively in all spheres of life. Keys to harness the inner self. Appreciate the existence of the inner self and the power available through it. Ensure your goals align with the natural laws and the spiritual laws of the cosmos. Clarify and visualize them in detail. Relax and allow the inner self to take over after visualization. Be receptive to impressions and act appropriately on them. The importance of a clear conscience. A clear conscience is essential to maintaining a strong connection with the inner self, which is the voice of the conscience. The voice of the conscience is the voice of the spirit. In matters of morality, creates a barrier between the conscious mind and the inner self. blocking other messages from reaching us. In aiming for a goal, it is essential to maintain a clear conscience if we wish to work with the inner self. In summary, to work with the spirit to achieve our goal, we should 1. Recognize the power of the spirit. Align our goals with the cosmos law. Visualize our goals clearly. Last, and trust the spirit to guide us. Act abruptly on inner impressions. Maintain a clean conscience in all matters. May we ever be guided by the light of the inner self to achieve our worthy goals of service in harmony with cosmic laws for our personal growth and development and for the benefit of humanity.